And tonight we're going to review the Ana de Armas movie, Knives Out.
I thought we were doing Ballerina.
It's the same movie, title-wise.
Oh, yeah, except they should call this one Flamethrowers Out. Welcome back to the Cinefanatics. My name's Robert Adams.
I'm Chris Adams.
And we've got a spoiler-free review for Ballerina from the world of John Wick.
A Knives Out story.
The Knives Out story, yeah. Real quick, let us know your thoughts, feelings, opinions about this down below in the comments. Like, subscribe, YouTube things, whatever. I want to also preface this. We're going to be spoiler-free for Ballerina. I can't guarantee that we're going to be spoiler-free for the other 4 John Wick movies. So if you haven't seen those, first of all, you need to go see them because there's stuff in those movies that kind of helps you understand what's going on in Ballerina.
You've had plenty of time.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not our fault. That's on you. You have time. We've had time. We work full-time jobs and do this YouTube channel, and we've seen all those movies. I mean, that's actually our YouTube job. Anyway, beside the point, I like this movie. We're going to be all scattered on this one. I like this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. It fits within the world of John Wick. So, the proper title.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, the biggest thing right off the bat for me is, if you've seen these John Wick movies, you know how the choreography for the action is basically a dance. Mm-hmm. It is stylistic to a T. It is absolutely, like, you go to these movies for the nature of how did they choreograph the action sequences and these scenes and how are they doing the gun fu and we're using the swords and all the John Wick's using a book or whatever,
You get the oohs and the from the audience.
It's all the same thing. This movie, I feel like, is all of that, but I feel like they actually took it to another level, and that the primary focus of this movie really was, hey, check out how the action sequences are like a dance sequence. Hence, the connection throughout the movie of the ballerina aspect. It's the whole notion of it all. It's the dancing and how it is connected to the killing.
Yeah. So one of the things I will say about this that I really like is if you've seen the 4 John Wick movies, for the most part, I know that they said that there's going to be a 5th one, but it seems like by the end of the 4th movie, it's pretty much done, if you know what I'm saying. It looks like that John Wick's story is over and done with, which I like because, studios got a studio, yo. They need to make money, and they would like to milk franchises. Look at Fast and Furious. Look at James Bond. Look at, like, a lot of the horror movies. They keep bringing back, like, Saw and stuff. They like making money for some weird reason. And you know that John Wick is a very successful, like, there's no movie in the John Wick franchise that people are like, I didn't care for that one. Like, Mission Impossible, most people agree that, like, the second Mission Impossible movie is probably, like, the low one of the whole franchise.
But also, nostalgia glasses, hindsight, give it time. People love the Star Wars prequels now. So, I'm saying.
Muy. But the thing with those... that there isn't a bad John Wick movie. They're all fantastic.
Yeah.
But the story, for the most part, is over. We need another reason to continue the story. Spinoff. So that's where we now bring in Ballerina. And so we're starting over again with someone who's new to this assassin's world. We're seeing her origin, how she comes up, how she trains, how she learns. Mm-hmm. And that's what opens up a whole nother section of this world that we're already used to. We know the rules of this world. Now let's follow another character through it. And that's where I'm like, I smell another franchise coming out of this.
I mean, and again, that's the whole thing. Like, just to preface all of that, it is throwing you back into a world that you should already know. The rules are there. You know what the Continental is. You know who Ian McShane is playing. You know what all this is, and where it all goes. And so they're throwing you in there just automatically knowing that you automatically know what you're getting into and what it's about. Which is great because that does mean that they can focus a lot more time on who's this new character Eve? What is she about? Let's follow her. What's going on with her? Why is she doing what she's doing? And I think that's to the benefit. If we're going to start exploring other characters in the John Wick universe, we need to really spend time attaching ourselves to them, because we're attached to John Wick. They killed his puppy. Yeah, we're attached to John Wick. Give us another heartfelt reason to attach to another character. And they do, this time without the having to do the exposition of the world that they live in.
And what I like about this is how it folds into the John Wick universe.
Yeah.
I think like a lot of other spin-offs, I'll use, for example, Hobbs and Shaw was the Fast and Furious spin-off. Yes, there's a couple of characters, namely Hobbs and Shaw, who who you already know from the Fast and Furious movies. And that was it. That was really that movie's only real connection to the other Fast and Furious franchise. This movie, the way that they've made the John Wick movies, it welcomes a spin-off. And what I mean by that is the third John Wick movie set up the whole thing about the ballerina and the director with Angelica Houston's character. You saw Ana de Armas' character Eve, not played by Ana de Armas, but you did see Eve on the stage doing her ballerina pirouettes and stuff.
Yeah.
So you are aware that this world, this spin-off world exists, and they did a good job of setting that up in the main timeline, in the canon timeline of the John Wick franchise. And I love it. They knew exactly what they were doing when they made John Wick 3. And then they made John Wick 4, and then Ballerina. They're playing off of like the seeds that they planted way back when, and it works perfectly.
Which is funny that they're at that point in the franchise establishment, because you know you have big long running franchises like Star Wars or Marvel or something like that, where they can go back and reference a movie from 10 years ago, and you're going to know exactly what they're talking about. John Wick has now reached the point where we're going to reference something that we did 2 movies ago, and we're going to assume you know what we're talking about because you've seen them.
Yeah. So story-wise, it's a great movie, great story, fantastic. If you like John Wick, you're going to like Ballerina.
Yeah.
As far as the details for it, Ana de Armas in particular, fantastic. I did not see No Time to Die. You did.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, at the time you saw that, you were saying that we already knew that she was going to be in this John Wick movie, and you're like,
I don't think so. No,
I can't remember the timeline.
I don't think she wasn't established to be a part of John Wick at all. All we knew is she was just in No Time to Die, and she did a great job as like an action star in her brief scene or two in No Time to Die. She wasn't in the movie for long, and they really stuck by the age-old rule, leave them wanting more. I walked out of that theater wanting more of Ana de Armas in an action role. And then later on, there was talks about them spinning her off of James Bond and doing her own thing in the James Bond world, which I don't think that really went anywhere. And then they said, okay, well, actually, let's just go ahead and use her for a spin-off in the John Wick world. And we're like, good enough. That'll work.
And she does a phenomenal job.
That'll work.
Yeah, she does the action, the choreography for it. All of that is fantastic. But it's the feeling, the emotions, the acting. She's got that like nailed down like easily.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe this is the third movie that she's making with Keanu Reeves. After, I think the first one was Eli Roth's Knock Knock. That really wasn't that popular. Not many people saw it. And then I forgot the second one. The second one I think was like a period piece or a love story. I can't remember. And now this one, which is not a period piece or a love story.
Or Knock Knock.
Like they're doing all kinds of different genres with their movie pairings. So I love seeing those two work together again. I saw Ana de Armas on like a late night talk show, and she's talking about how she just absolutely adores working with Keanu Reeves.
Of course.
But she also name drops like a whole bunch of other actors that she worked with. Like it was just announced she's working with Tom Cruise coming up, and I'm like, why not?
Sure.
She has the fastest star power from what she's been doing.
You know what's funny is if somebody is not having fun working with Keanu Reeves, they're keeping that to themselves.
Oh, yeah. You don't dare say that publicly.
Yeah, I know.
He's breathtaking.
You're breathtaking. No. Yeah, so let's talk about the violence real quick because, again, if you like John Wick, it's more of the same.
Or no, actually, it's more of... It was a stupid reference.
Yeah, it's more of the same. And these movies aren't for me. I don't know why I keep watching them.
because they're good. For those of y'all who are not familiar with this channel, I love like the gore, the violence. I love horror movies and like violent action movies.
I don't.
He does not.
Don't.
But these movies have never been like quite as violent as like say the Deadpool movies.
No.
And Deadpool, for the most part, you like. I know there's a couple of things like gore wise you don't like about Deadpool,
I like
but
the story.
and the humor and
Yeah, I'm not a huge violence guy. So here's the great thing about coming to our channel for this review is you're gonna get the review from the side that is not a fan of the violence, the heavy violence, and the side from someone who it's just, their heart is made of black coal and they don't care anymore.
people exploded in this movie, and I loved it.
Yeah, there was definitely some explosions, some sharp objects going towards the faces. Just overall, that's not the part that I'm writing home about. So take that for what you will. I like the story. I like the acting. I do respect the choreography of the action of it all. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of action sequences in this movie that are actually really cool to watch.
There's a couple of shots in this that I was like, oh, that is me. There's one shot, it's not really spoiler, but I don't know if you remember, she's leaving like a club or something to go back to her vehicle, and she gets in the vehicle, she starts to drive away, and then
yeah,
and then that happens. That whole shot, I don't know how they did that, but that was gorgeous.
And the other thing too about action sequences that I love, I don't think we need to dive into it, but let's just say there's some fun with some flamethrowers
And plates.
And there's a fun. I don't know if I don't think it was meant to be funny, but it was funny to me with the plates. The plates. That's all you need to know, really.
Yeah.
Just plates and flamethrowers.
It takes this action violence and it plays it off humorously. I can't word. But like the plates
with humor, not void of humor.
Yeah. The plates is just fun. And it gets so absurd that like there was definitely one part in there when she goes to the supplier to get guns and stuff, that whole action sequence that's in there, I was just laughing the whole time because it's just absurd after absurd after absurd.
And honestly, I think that was on purpose because we're dealing with essentially what we were told is a cult, essentially. Mm-hmm. And when you're reaching a cult status in the John Wick universe, you need to dive into some absurd a little bit with it. Otherwise, you're just dealing with the same kind of assassins going off and doing. We've been there and done that for 4 movies in the John Wick universe now. It is time to get a little silly with it, but intentionally silly. And I think that's what they were doing with this. And it actually worked. In many other circumstances, other movies, other franchises, maybe it wouldn't work as much. It worked for this one.
Yeah. All the returning characters that we've seen from the other John Wick movies, I love seeing them back again. Ian McShane as Winston, I love seeing him. Lance Reddick as Charon.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. I love getting to see him one last time playing that role because it's such a good role for him. He's like all knowledgeable. He's like one of the like most knowledgeable characters in the entire John Wick franchise, but he plays his part as like the concierge of the Continental.
He's a stable pillar.
Well. Yeah. Like he knows he's a good low man on the low rung on the ladder. I'm trying to figure out how to say that phrase better now. But he's the low rung on the ladder for the most part as far as the business runs. But he keeps everything quiet and to himself, and he does excellent job.
He's the low rung on the totem pole.
Yeah, yeah. That doesn't work anymore nowadays, apparently.
Also, totem poles don't have rungs.
Yeah. But all of them returning good. Music was good. I mean, there's a lot of female star power, so you got like Halsey, Evanescence in there. So I mean, that makes sense.
Soundtrack is going off.
Everything else regarding to it is filmed by Len Wiseman, who did like the first 2 Underworlds, did that Total Recall remake, and this movie.
There you go.
And that's roughly about it.
Yeah. So overall,
I enjoyed it. Is it the best movie in the world? No, it's a very standard, very formulaic movie. But again, it's not bad. There's not a dull moment in this movie at all. We both went to this movie kind of like really tired from everything else we had to do today, but we were still entertained, edge of your seat watching. I had a blast with this movie. I highly recommend it, especially if you're already a fan of the John Wick movies, which means you're probably going to go see this movie anyways.
Yeah. I liked it because they decided to subvert some expectations, have action sequences pop up when you're not expecting action sequences to happen. They have stuff going on left and right. We're really dived into Ana de Armas' character and what her story is. Overall enjoyable for that factor. Again, violence, not for me, but I still watched it. I still enjoyed it for the rest that the movie has to offer. Call me a weirdo, I don't care. But it's a recommend, especially if you like the other John Wick movies.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for our review for this. Again, what did you think of Ballerina? Let us know down below in the comments while you're down there. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to us here on The Cinefanatics. You can follow us on social media. We are at The Cinefanatics on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow me. I'm at RCA Reacts on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Letterboxd, and YouTube.com/@RCA Reacts.
And you can follow me at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram. And I need to reestablish my Letterboxd, but I'm there also.
Anyways, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We'll have a ranking of all the John Wick movies, including Ballerina, coming up in the next few days. So keep an eye out for that. Subscribe so you are notified of that. Otherwise, we appreciate watching you. We appreciate watching you. That's creepy. We appreciate you watching us. That's how YouTube works, apparently. We will see you on the next video when we figure out how to make them. Anyways, thank you for watching.
Turn off the video, Jerry. Put on another video. You too, Susie.
Who are these people?
I'm seeing them right now.
Anyways, bye.